Hey Rexburg, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Rexburg Hustle. We're very excited to have you guys here with us today. We have wonderful guests that we're really excited about, that we're going to dive deep into their business today, talk about a little bit of their history, what they're doing now, and also the future. We do have the owners of Righteous Slice with us here. If you guys have not been there, you guys are missing out because it is by far the best pizza I've ever had in Rexburg. So really, actually, anywhere. And I'm not just saying that because my wife and I love pizza. So anyway, we'll talk about pizza in a minute.
Yeah.
Guys, we have been on break for a few weeks, but we are back. We've got more guests lined up, so we're really excited to be back. I will touch on our book. We are in the final stages of compiling the volume 1 of the Rexburg Hustle, The Untold Stories. So that will be coming. It's a lot more work than we anticipated it would be. So that is coming, guys. Don't give up on that. It's just going to be closer to 500 pages, and it's a lot more work than we had thought. So, but anyway, we are here with the Crawfords today, the owners of Righteous Slice Pizza here in Rexburg. Again, guys, one of the best pizza places I've ever been to. And first, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. One thing I want to talk about, and we talked in the pre-show a little bit how when you guys first started this business, you were really good about getting the word out about the history, because I think every good business has a good story to go with it. And you guys nailed that good story. I mean, flying planes, Air Force, going to Italy, cool ovens, all this cool stuff that I think not very many people have succeeded in nailing the story with their business. For the people in our audience who have not heard your guys' story, could you give us kind of the brief background on Righteous Slice?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I feel like, so we've been making pizza for a long time, Cheryl and me.
Uh-huh.
And we did, backyard grill. We could never quite find what we felt like was awesome. Mm-hmm. And one day I had a pizza in Europe that just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it was so good. It was light. It seemed a little bit crispy, but not really crispy, and the flavors were just out of this world. And so I tried to steal the recipe from the restaurant there. I started taking pictures, and the manager came up and he says, "Hey, are you
stealing my pizza?
Are you trying to get this recipe?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Come back tonight after we close, and I'll show you how to make this."
Huh.
Which I think turned out to be a joke, because just knowing the recipe doesn't give you the skill.
Right.
It'd be like saying, "Hey, if you just jump from the free throw line like Michael Jordan and do a 360, you can win the dunk competition."
Right.
And so having that recipe got me started down this path, but it took years to refine and learn the skill and craft of making pizza. And so for me, it wasn't, "Hey, we need to have a great story." It was really just, I wanted to bring something special and awesome to the people that I love.
Yeah.
Right now, that's Rexburg.
Awesome. And then what else? Because I know, and maybe we'll dive a little deeper into the story than I anticipated. And I apologize, I put the wrong, this is not supposed to be our countdown clock. I have our TVs reversed. So we're going to have to refer to this one for how much time we have left. But let's talk a little bit about your oven, because that's a very unique factor in your guys' business. And maybe you want to explain the oven to us a little bit. Because it's not just your normal pizza oven.
Well, I mean, it depends on your definition of normal. It's very normal for Italy, which
Correct.
is where it was produced. So we had it handmade for us in Naples, Italy by the Gianni Acunto factory. They do them all by hand, and they made it. We ordered it specially for us, and it took probably about 3 months for us to get it. And then it went on a boat to New York, where we got it from our supplier, who shipped it over, who drove it on a truck from New York to Rexburg. And then before, it weighs 6,000 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
So before the building was complete, we drove through on a forklift and kind of put it where it was supposed to be while construction happened around us.
Wow.
And then once it was going, once we kind of had most things settled, we did the tile ourselves.
Oh, you guys
tile.
did?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
We are insane.
What is that oven made? Is it like a clay oven? Is it brick oven? It's brick. Okay.
Yeah.
So traditional pizza ovens, I mean, you go to Domino's, you go to Pizza Hut, you go to wherever else, and they just go through a little conveyor belt. What makes your oven so different?
Well, it's We use both gas and wood. We call it a wood-fired gas-assisted oven.
Okay.
It burns, it depends on the day and kind of what we're doing with it, but it burns anywhere from 750 to 900 degrees.
Wow.
So the pizzas cook in roughly 60 seconds.
Man.
Yeah, they cook really fast. The interesting thing about an Italian brick oven is it's got this soft stone floor. So the stone transfers heat into the pizza just the right amount at the right time. And then it's got brick, which reflect the heat down on top of it. So the flame, the brick, and the floor all have to work together to produce this really fast cooking and light, delicate pizza that you get from us.
Wow. And that's one thing, if you guys haven't been there, that you'll notice is the pizza is it's just fluffy. It's just so light and airy and it just makes you smile. It's not your dense dough. It's so light and airy, but it's good. Well, one of the things I wrote down in the pre-show, and one thing I really want to discuss a lot in this show, is that you guys just didn't bring a business to Rexburg. You guys brought a business with a purpose to Rexburg. You did not have to open a pizza store. Your life was not depending on you guys. Yes, maybe it was a dream, but there is much more to the vision of owning Righteous Slice than what people might know or realize or think. One thing that we talked about in the pre-show is that you guys have created a leadership laboratory. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So one of the things that I hoped to do, well, the overarching purpose of the business was to help people find joy with pizza, right? So we wanted to have great pizza, but we also wanted to have it served in a way that made everyone who came through the door feel better about themselves. Mm-hmm. And we also wanted to create a little bit of a different environment. So we hope when you walk through the door, you are finding that you've left Rexburg. You're not exactly sure where you've gone. It's got a little New York, a little bit of West Coast. It's just sort of we call it reclaimed industrial look to it. But what really I feel like mattered to me was the impact we could have on young people's lives. And so we try to create a culture and an environment where the people who work there are learning valuable lessons about their lives. I'll just give you kind of, for instance, we currently, Cheryl's really the manager of the thing right now, but we don't have assistant managers. We don't have a hired general manager. We've assigned key responsibilities, very important responsibilities, to keeping us stocked with inventory, to managing our quality, to having the schedule all done, to the folks who work there. And so they have to solve very real business challenges that in many cases, in fact, probably every case at this point, would not be given to them until much later in their experience. And so we try to train them, and then once they're trained, we have them pick someone to also, we need more than just one person who can do this particular responsibility. And so whether it's doing that weekly order or building the schedule or keeping us stocked with the right amount of mozzarella cheese, which, believe it or not, since it's highly perishable, is a critical task that is not easy to pull off. And these young people are doing it every day.
Wow. So you guys, it's not the traditional hierarchy of a business.
I don't know. What do you think?
Probably not.
Not. Okay.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there are certain things that we definitely maintain control of. We maintain control of the finances.
Right.
But for the most part, they make a lot of the decisions. Quality control starts and ends with the people that are making the pizza, and we're not there every day.
Right.
So they need to know and understand what makes great pizza and what's servable and what's not, and they do a great job. They're invested. They care about doing a good job and about producing a good product and creating a great experience for everyone who walks through that door.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how emotionally invested most of the people who work there are on making this business successful. We've got a few people who, over the summer, things were kind of slow. It's Rexburg, and August was a surprisingly slow time for us. And we would come into the store and see one or two staff members sitting at the table working on homework. And we'd say, what are you doing here? Well, just in case it gets busy, I'll clock in. But since it's not busy, I'm going to just hang out and do homework. Which we have one guy who, he loves the place so much that he'll just bring in a pack of donuts or muffins.
Wow.
He'll bring in treats. He's going to come and see how things are going in there. So I wouldn't say it's like a family, but I would definitely say there's a strong community, a strong sense of belonging. People feel cared about there. At least I hope they do. I'm sure that's not always true, but it's our goal.
Right. You know, it just listening to you guys kind of give your perspective on that reminded me when I was going to school, and I think we did a Harvard case study on JetBlue, and how the owner of JetBlue, I mean, he would go through and work with everybody, from the people throwing the bags to the flight attendants sitting up on the flight deck to, I mean, just doing everything to be involved with every employee and making them feel like their job's important and that they have responsibility. And so I feel like you guys, in a different sense, or maybe in the same sense, have been able to do that, making these people feel important that work for you, giving them extra responsibilities that they generally wouldn't have, just kind of showing them that you have trust in them and that you appreciate what they do. I think that's one of the coolest things. I mean, I just don't know any other businesses that have a structure like that. You know, it's always that traditional structure.
Yeah, I don't know enough about other businesses to say how they're doing it. We really want to create opportunities for the people who work there to learn and grow and progress, and for those who catch that vision and give it their best, I feel like they do really well.
And they are important. We need them all there. They do a really great job, and we couldn't possibly be there all day, every day making pizza.
Right.
They're very important.
Yeah. And they get, the ones who learn it, they get to learn a skill that's kind of rare. Mm-hmm. The idea that, hey, you're going to make dough the way they made it a couple hundred years ago in Italy.
Right.
And that there's nothing secret about our recipe, although I'm not going to say it on the air.
Right.
It's the way that we go about making the food makes a difference in how it comes out.
Right.
And so they're learning these skills. I wish they would learn how to use a knife. I try to teach them, here a good knife technique, right?
Yeah.
But they're learning, I think, there's some culinary skills, but also problem solving and customer focus. I think that's probably maybe the most important thing we try to teach is, hey, I want you to look around the place and sense when someone's not quite thrilled.
Yeah.
And then see what it takes to get them so that they're just so happy they came in today. That's not always pizza. Sometimes it's just showing that you care or cleaning the place up. But I go in there, and when I see that the people who work there are doing what Cheryl and I would do when we're not there, that's when I know we're doing really well.
Yeah. And that's kind of the next point of what I want to talk about is your guys' customer service. You guys have achieved something great that doesn't always exist, sadly, in Rexburg, is customer service. We find that a lot of businesses here have not been able to master that, nor do they strive a whole lot for it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it seems that way. And every business is a little bit different, but you guys have made that one of your primary focuses. You guys have over 100 Google reviews, correct?
500,
more than 500,
mm-hmm.
and you're maintaining a 4.7 star rating, which is phenomenal, which is great. And how many other businesses in Rexburg have that many reviews?
We only looked at food businesses. We know Big Judd's has more than 1,000, and they're doing really well.
Yeah.
And I'm not aware of too many others that have more than 100 reviews and a 4.7 star rating.
And I'm assuming that in order to get that, you guys have to ask people for reviews. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you do that because you want their feedback.
Yep.
Because you care about their business.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a process in place that it invites people to give us feedback, mm-hmm. and when they've had a great experience, then we ask for the review.
Yeah.
If they haven't had a perfect experience, then their feedback comes directly to us.
Good.
And then we engage with them. It's supposed to be real time, and sometimes while they're still sitting in the pizza place, mm-hmm. we get that feedback. Sorry about that. We'll make this right. We'll send them a coupon for something right then. And it's pretty common for them to say, "Wow, I didn't expect you to even write back."
Right.
And here they are talking to either Cheryl or me directly while they're in the store. So
this is something you take very serious.
Oh yeah.
Is the customer feedback, and I think in the restaurant industry, I mean, if they're not happy, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
So
I had a sad experience where I tried to take my daughter out to a special lunch, and it wasn't in Rexburg; it was in Idaho Falls. And they said they were closing between lunch and dinner, and we only had 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so I went in. I said, "Okay, we'd like to sit down." "Oh, I can't seat you." "What do you mean you can't seat me? You're open." "Well, no, we close in 10 minutes." "Well, isn't that? I mean, I kind of thought, can I talk to the manager?" sure. And he gives me the manager's number. And I called the manager and said, I just wanted you to know this was happening in your store. And he says, oh, yeah, I don't let them seat people if it's 10 minutes. And I thought,
my gosh.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry that's happening, right? And to me, if somebody were to walk into our store, my goal, and I think we do a pretty good job of this, say it's 10 minutes after we closed. The person didn't know we were closed. They came in the back or whatever. If we haven't taken down the prep line, we serve them.
Good.
We say, hey, look, thanks for coming in. We try to make it so they don't even know we're closed.
Yeah.
Because our goal is to create the best possible experience for everyone who walks through that door.
Yeah.
And I think they do a good job.
I think your staff, every time, and one thing I've noticed is as I go into that restaurant is the staff is happy. They're energetic. They've got a smile on their face, and it's a genuine smile. You could tell, if you go into a restaurant and they have to fake a smile, I feel like the people that work at Righteous Slice are genuinely excited and happy to be there. And I think that's not an easy thing to master. It's really not, because most people just need jobs. They don't expect to actually go to work and be happy about it,
Right.
So that's definitely a tough thing to master, I feel like.
Yeah. What do you think we've done to do that?
I think we've tried really hard to create a culture where people are happy, and also it's a tough job. The food industry is tough. We have stairs, and we deliver pizzas to the tables.
Right.
And so I make it clear when I hire them, this is going to hurt. It's a hard job. And you're going to be, especially when you're new, you're not going to know how to do anything.
Yeah. And
we're just going to send you with pizzas up and down the stairs for hours. And you've got to be able to do it with a smile on your face. And they're like, I can do that. And sometimes...
Sounds like a fair labor practice violation.
It's hard. I know. It's a tough job, but we try and make it fun. We try and be encouraging. I try really hard to hire people who are going to be positive and energetic and upbeat and bring a lot to the culture in the way of just a good attitude.
Yeah.
Because especially when you're new, and making the type of pizza we do requires so much skill.
Yeah.
It's an art. It's different every day. The dough is different every day. You can't do the same thing every day and get the same results. And so at the beginning, they can't offer me anything but enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And so that I make it clear that I need their enthusiasm, and we just have people that are just really genuinely great people, happy and fun to be around, and like joking and get along. So that helps.
That definitely helps. I've had one food industry job, and I did not last very long at it. It's tough, and it was pizzas that it was a take and bake pizza place, and I lasted maybe about 2 months there. But the main reason for it is number one, I'm not afraid of hard work. That was really hard work, though. I could not believe how much work the food industry is. I have such a respect for the food industry. The hardest part for me was the attitudes of the employees, and it started from the top. It was one of the most negative work environments I've ever worked in my life. I just could not take it. For me, I'm like, we're making pizzas. We should be happy about this. People aren't generally sad when they're coming to eat pizza.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest thing for me, was just, negativity is so, it's an infection. It just, it kills everybody around you. And it starts with you guys.
I think, that this was one of our early struggles, because there were, I'm, some people think of me like Gordon Ramsay, very demanding. I don't use the same kind of colorful language he uses.
Sure.
But this high standards, and I really felt like those high standards were going to be critical to our success. And early on, people perceived my feedback and coaching as heavy criticism. And it was really hard for some of the people in that culture to receive that and still feel happy. I think that as time went on and they began to get really good at what they did, they in fact, it was like the year mark where we said, hey, can you remember last year this was just crazy and we could barely make anything? And they all said, yeah, and we sucked. We were not good at what we did, and we didn't know it. Right. And Cheryl then said, well, now do you know why Bill was always kind of trying to reinforce these ideas? And they said, yeah. So once we got past that, and the people who worked there understood the standards and were able to do it. But that took months.
Yeah.
That wasn't an easy hurdle to cross for us. But I realized that I had to to find ways to be encouraging and positive and still have those high standards.
Right.
And it's not a strength that comes naturally to me. Yeah. I'm
Just
very
something
good
you
at
had
showing
to
you,
work
hey,
at.
here's how the standard is, just make this happen. And I can always find something for you that you can improve.
Yeah.
And so because I am constantly wanting to improve, it's hard for me to remember that not everyone wakes up every day thinking, how can I get better at this?
Right.
And but when they're around me, they'll definitely hear it.
Yeah.
And so
And your standards are high. That's one thing we talked about in the pre-show is you said we will get the very best we can, and if we can't get that, we'll get the next best thing.
Yep.
So it's not the same standards, I'd say, as most businesses. They're just like, sometimes we just need to get what will get us by.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good enough
Yeah.
for you guys.
Oh, it's maddening when we can't get the stuff we need. Sometimes I just think, how are we going to serve this with, only the second best pepperoni in the world?
Right.
Right? It took us 6 months, Rick, to find pepperoni that I felt good about.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it takes,
Wow.
according to Cheryl, I guess 3 weeks from the time we order it until it gets here.
Until it gets here.
Because it's a special order, low volume. We're not, we don't have massive number of stores.
Right.
So we can't command our suppliers to stock it just for us. And so it's a special order item.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of things like that. Super complicated operations because if the purpose is to bring this amazing magical pizza to people,
Yeah.
then it's clear what we have to do, even if it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helps us stay focused on not cutting corners, not cutting costs. We still look for ways to improve and hopefully keep our costs under control, but really the focus is on that highest possible quality.
Right. Which is amazing, which is why your pizzas are so incredible, which is why people keep coming back. You said in the pre-show that you had regulars from Idaho Falls that would drive all the way here just for your pizza.
Yep.
Which I think is amazing. According to the wrong screen that's on the wrong TV here, we're getting really close on time and we've covered 2 bullet points.
Oh, good.
So one thing I want to talk about is, again, this goes back to customer service, but you mentioned this in the pre-show, is sometimes you tell your staff you're not giving enough stuff away.
You do. Wow.
Yeah.
Who knew?
We have a different, sometimes we think
Different
about things
perspective on that?
differently, right?
Okay.
So there's a long-term versus a short-term
Sure.
kind of mindset.
Right.
It's very easy for, I think, anyone in a service situation to think, well, okay, that didn't go well. I hope we see that person again.
Right.
And I feel like, gosh, if we didn't deliver on our value proposition to them, then we would love to have another chance.
Yeah.
And so anytime someone, I would go through the store and actually sometimes have a contest. If the line's back to the stairs, I'll tell people, hey, you're going to have your food in 20 minutes from right now or 30 minutes from right now, whatever that timing is.
Yeah.
And then if they don't, I say, I'll give you a free dessert. And then they'll set their clocks. And then I get to go visit with them and we just have a fun conversation.
Nice.
I'd say 4 times out of 5, they don't get the free dessert.
Gotcha.
Because we're pretty fast. But if we stumble and we something happens and they get a little bit behind, then it's fun to give something away.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it so that we just want them to have the experience that we designed for them. Not everyone who comes in gets what they wanted.
Right.
And we don't control that, but we want to make sure that they get what we designed for them. And if we fall short on that, then I'll ask the staff, hey, give them a free dessert, give them another pizza, give them a voucher to come back. We just want them to come back and have the experience that they're supposed to have with us.
Yeah.
And so when the staff gets that mindset, I look at things and say, man, if our wait times are longer than we want them to be, then there should be some desserts kind of going out as part of the hope people will come back in.
Right.
And so, I tell people, I haven't said it in a while, but
Because they've done a good job.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Hey,
that-
that's even better
Yeah.
than giving free stuff
Yeah.
away, is having things done correctly
That's
and
right.
on time. And
Deliver on your value proposition.
yes.
But when we fall short, we really encourage the staff to do whatever it takes to help that person have a more perfect experience with us.
Awesome.
And frankly, I think that mindset is way more valuable in the long term than to think about, well, it's going to cost me $1.50 or $5 or whatever it is to get this person. I don't want to give away too many of those.
Right.
And so I'd much rather just say, hey, look, we want you to come back and enjoy something on us next time.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that's great. And that's, it doesn't cost you that much in the end if they continue to be a repeat customer.
Right.
So
I think sometimes people worry, well, how much is it going to cost me if people find out, oh, if I complain, I can get something for free.
Right.
Well, we eventually figure out, we've had a few people who would complain almost every time they came in.
Yeah.
And finally we said, it's probably,
You've had enough for free.
yeah,
Right.
I would say
we love you, but
We said it in a nicer way.
we've
but
probably
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
I would just say, in this case, we've probably delivered on our value proposition as good as we're going to, and it's just going to be really hard to satisfy that person.
yeah.
And there's a few people like that, but mostly I don't feel like people are being dishonest or taking advantage of us or our kindness or generosity in any way. I think
Good.
we're just doing our best to please people and bring joy to them when they come in.
Awesome.
And I think that contributes to the staff's happiness is that they have the power to make people happy. They don't have to say, oh, I have to wait for a manager to approve this or whatever. They can just say, hey, we messed up. We didn't do it right.
Because you've empowered them.
Yes, I'm empowered to give you a free pizza. I'm empowered to remake the one that we messed up. I'm empowered.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry and wait for approval and worry about getting in trouble that they did the wrong thing.
Yeah. I think that's great. And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. So, kudos to you guys for nailing that. So, if they can go in, if a customer can go and have a positive experience, even if there is a negative experience involved with it, while not having you guys there, then that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In the 3 minutes we have left, let's talk about the future of Righteous Slice. So you guys are doing some new kind of exciting things that are in the works right now, right?
Yep.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about the future. What does the future hold for Righteous Slice? You just hit your year mark recently,
Yeah.
right? Which is crazy because I told them I feel like you've been here forever. So, but I can't believe it's only been a year. But what is in store for you guys in the future?
What is in store? We have a construction project going on upstairs right now. We've got kind of a bar area where we'll be serving some Italian sodas, probably some Italian ice, possibly gelato, just kind of fun treats.
Awesome.
Kind of encourage people to come and hang out and have something that they don't, if you don't want a whole pizza or even like a dessert pizza, we'll expand our offerings for things that people can enjoy for maybe a lower price point.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just diversity.
Just a little bit of
just
treats,
diversify our
Yeah.
We were involved with the Berg. I don't know if you remember the Berg.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We loved that place. We were consultants to them and heavily involved in menu design development and a lot of the things that you saw there. We helped them with, and we noticed that when the Berg came out with their better burgers. At first, people were worried. Well, they're going to charge. No one's going to pay that much for a hamburger.
Right.
Which turned out to be not true.
Right.
But they also had these lower price shakes that would bring people in. And we feel like because of the environment we've created and I think it's a fun place to be. We just want to bring some things into the store that can people can come and enjoy without having to buy a whole pizza.
Sure.
We also, I'd say, future-wise, we'd love to. I'm going to say it this way: we're trying to make it so that we're not involved in the day-to-day. And I think the day we wake up and the place is successful, and we're not involved in it, then we'll start looking at options to open another store somewhere, because I think at that point we'll have a culture and processes and systems in place that make it so that the business can be reproduced. Doesn't mean we'll ever do it, but we know for sure we're not in that mindset of, okay, I've opened one, let's open another and another and another.
Right.
I think if you stay true to the vision of this is to create the best possible pizza someone can have, and truly, we have the people from Italy in Rexburg. We kind of cornered the market of Italians who want a good pizza. They come to us. But I my goal has always been that people in Italy will save up their entire lives so that they can buy a boat ticket and sail to Rexburg.
I love it.
When they try this pizza, they'll say it really is better than ours. And we're a long ways from that goal. But if you think about the future, that's kind of how I think about it. It's focus on the pizza quality and the systems and business processes that will make it so that this could be expanded, and then we'll decide if it's the right thing for us.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you guys.
So are we.
I know, and we never know. But thank you guys so much. Thank you for having a business with a purpose in Rexburg. Thank you for doing what you're doing for your employees, for training leaders, and for establishing a business with excellent customer service and being able to empower these people to make decisions that will help them in their life. And really is kind of what that is. So again, thank you guys. Thank you for coming on the show. Guys, if you have not tried Wretched Slice Pizza, you need to go sign up for their mobile alerts. I think one came through today, actually.
Yep.
We got one this morning.
Yeah,
so,
Margarita Monday.
Margarita Monday. That's right. That's what it was. Go get your margarita pizza. And anyway, guys, join us next week. We'll have another guest. It will be next Wednesday. And we look forward to seeing you. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.